Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can hear, I am a little bit sick right now, having a bit of a cold, so not exactly a huge fan of going outside and doing more photos. So I decided for a slight change of pace for the very last video of 2024, I am going to do a different video of what's in my bag for 2025. During this whole year, I have gotten some significant changes in gear and some significant changes in how I carry my stuff. So I think it's a pretty good opportunity for me to talk about what's happened and how I pack my bags, including what's in there, what's specifically used, and how I carry this bloody thing around and lug it 14, 15 or 20 kilometers on each individual trip. Keep in mind, I am going to not include some gear in this video, including the video stuff, because the Pocket 3 is filming this video right now, and there is one tripod that's mounted right up here for the S24, so you can get a second angle while I have the backpack on here and trying to pack it with you, so you can see exactly from top down what's happening. Anyways, I don't think there's much to say for now, and I am going to try and pack all of this into the bag, and yes, I'm also at my friend's home, so thank you very much to him for borrowing his place, because my own is not going to be good for filming all the stuff because I have to lay it all out. Anyways, I think it's about time to pack up. So starting from this side, we have my tripods. One's an aluminium version and one's a carbon fiber version, so I am going to only explain one, and plus one is right up here helping out with the filming, so I don't think I can exactly cover this. It's just a bag, you know? So I am just going to talk about the carbon fiber version, while seeing that it's mostly the same thing. So this is a Peak Design carbon fiber tripod, and it's very well built, it's very sturdy, but I really cannot recommend anyone to buy this tripod because it is so expensive for what it is. I only buy it because it shrinks down to a very small size and enables me to put this directly in my backpack. I've used this tripod for a very long time, so much so that I loved it so much I got the other version of it. I use both of these tripods along with the, well, it's a plate, I'll explain that later, to mount the dolls and mount my cameras very high up, and because they are so sturdy and so well built, I have no issues doing any of that, unless it's under really strong winds or rain. Well, in those circumstances, I wouldn't be shooting anyway, so these things, sturdy, reliable, but honestly, you don't really need this level of tripod or gear. Alright, let's put that back in and explain the other thing over there. Those little squares you see in front of the tripod. I'll just lay it down like this, Jesus Christ. So this is a Smallrig RM120. It's a very small, very convenient LED panel. So let's turn this on. It has, well, let's see, a very strong output, as you can see. Goes from very warm to very cold in an instant and is very tiny. It's, well, thicker than the usual LED panel, but this means it also has a very big battery. Love this thing. It's also very well built. It's metal, so me with my butterfingers dropping on the ground, no worries at all. I've dropped this thing like twice and it still functions completely fine. And it also has two mounting points for 1/4 inch, meaning that I can mount this on my small tripods however I want. These things are brilliant. I have two of them. Well, these things mostly function as the backup light for the eyes and really nothing else, but I do highly recommend these if you're not using flashes. Alright, next thing, right in front of me are the flashes. So my flash daily driver is this, the TT685 version 2C. C stands for Canon, so self-explanatory. These are, well, kind of cheaper flashes. Well, they're very cheap compared to the V1 or V862. I don't know if there's a second version of it, but the flash head is the same. All I need is the flash head to be pretty powerful, and because this uses AA batteries, I have no issues hot swapping in the field. I have two of these things along with a, what do you call this? A mini softbox, because this is small and this is quite portable, and I need two of them for balanced lighting. I use these all the time. You've seen these in a lot of my videos and they're very convenient. I really don't prefer those lithium-ion battery flashes because, well, I can't exactly hot swap them if I don't have another set of batteries, meaning that I would have to carry 4. Yes, I still need to carry more AA batteries, but I can just go to a convenience store and get more of them, well, I can't do the same with the lithium-ion batteries, so this to me is more convenient. I don't care about the environment. This is not going to save any more sea turtles anyway. Next thing on the list, these two lenses, well, one doesn't need any introduction, so I'll just talk about that first. The 15-35, a very magnificent ultra-wide lens that goes up to f2.8, 15mm whenever I need it, and 35 as a standard angle, which you've seen in so many of my photos. This is a brilliant lens. f2.8 meaning that I can basically do whatever I want. It's very sharp. It goes along perfectly with my camera, and I love this to bits. However, a very new addition to my setup this year is this thing, the 70-200 f2.8. So this very thing is the, well, what should I say? The reason why I started shooting more telephoto. Well, you would say, duh, it's a telephoto lens, of course you should be shooting more. Well, because it's just that nice to use, making me shoot more telephoto even if I don't necessarily want to, and pushing me to do different compositions. Early in the year, the most I would use was 70mm, and that was about it. But this thing forced me to do more at 100mm, at 135, and more recently I've been trying longer and longer focal lengths, and it's really fun. Mostly because this thing is so sharp, it's so good, the bokeh looks so nice, and everything about it is perfect, aside from the price. And also the weight, because this is a heavy bastard. Along with the lens hood, I'll just mount it the normal way. It's a big lens, as you can see. Look at that. It's taller than my face. Not exactly the best thing to carry around, but I really don't want to sacrifice the image quality, and I'm more used to having the best of the best. Even more so when you are using a camera like this. This is the EOS R5. I don't really need to introduce this thing. You've seen it in every single one of my videos. It's such a good camera, very high resolution, meaning that I need these two top tier lenses, and it's just brilliant. 45 megapixel, all the good controls, all the good ergonomics. Canon always makes good stuff. And a rig cage. Now this is quite special. As you can see, the rig cage has two, well, tripod plates, and that's about it. And you say, what's special about it? Well, in these circumstances, because I'm not doing video with this thing, you would say, why aren't you using an L bracket? There's a reason why. So as you can see, there's a tripod plate on the side, meaning that I can mount it like this vertically, and most critically on the top, but it's not center, as you can see. So I mount this on a tripod upside down. I'll insert some B-roll from a few videos ago right here, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's off center, meaning that I can mount stuff right on the hot shoe and also on this cold shoe mount without being obstructed by the tripod center column. It's very useful, and I really cannot recommend enough anyone who's doing inverted photos to get a rig cage. Do it like I am, and even more so if you're not using flashes, you need a rig cage. You can just mount it on the center point, which makes it ever so convenient, and it's brilliant. I cannot emphasize how much I want to replace this because it doesn't really feel the nicest. The buttons are obstructed, but at the same time, it's really nice to have, and I don't think I'll be replacing this rig cage, or this camera for any matter, anytime soon. What about the thing right beside it? These are batteries. The Smallrig replacements for the LPE6NH. What a mouthful. The best thing about this is it has a USB-C charging port right on the battery. In my Taiwan and Japan trip, I didn't even bother bringing a camera battery charger because I could just plug this in directly. I basically don't touch Canon batteries anymore because these things are just that good. If you're using any Canon camera that uses these batteries, get this. This is 1/3 the price of an original Canon battery, and it's really useful. Charging capacity is around the same, and you can top this up on the go, meaning that if you really don't want to spend that much money, you can just buy two and keep the other one charging in your bag whenever you need to. It's really useful. I don't know if it supports fast charging at all, but I don't really think you need to. Plus my battery pack and everything else kind of does charge it. What about the next thing? That's the portable charger. This is an Anker 20,000 kilowatt. I don't really know what the unit is, but it charges my phone, it charges my tablet, it charges basically everything here that has a USB-C port, and can last me about 2 days if I don't go charging it, well, every night. It's very useful, and I highly recommend anyone with lights, with flashes that, well, somehow take USB-C to get one of these. You don't necessarily need Anker, but this is a brand I would go with. Now to a very brand new addition to the backpack. This is the Godox X3. As you might remember, I shot with a Godox X2T, the flash trigger for these two things. And recently I got this. This tiny little thing is a flash trigger. That is magnificent. It goes right on top of the camera, it functions basically the same, but this means that I no longer need to look all the way down like this just to look at the flash settings. It's very useful, however, well, it's a glass surface. Makes me a little bit nervous when I ever so slightly scratch it, but at the same time, it's touchscreen, everything functions perfectly in this thing. So far, so good. And it also comes with a fancy little carrying pouch like this, so making sure I don't scratch it during transportation. I've already scratched my X2T a lot, so this thing, yeah, staying in my bag for quite a while. Let's quickly go over the other tripods. Yes, there's more than 2 tripods in this entire setup. So these are the Manfrotto PIXIs, small mini tripods that are built really well, but they have started to show their age because I use these to support my flashes or my lights whenever I see fit. However, as you can see, the legs are, well, you can see they're dangling a bit, but they're that sturdy that I cannot let go of them. Maybe I'll pick up some new ones when they're on sale. I do recommend you pick up some during the end of year or end of financial year sale if you ever have the chance. They're not exactly very versatile, but they're good quality, and the ball head is actually pretty good on this thing. Doesn't really rotate to a lot of angles, so you might be interested in looking up the more premium version right here. I don't have a link, it's not affiliate or whatever, but I'm just recommending you this, though I do think that this is good enough. So I got 2 of them. What's more interesting is up this. This is the Joby GorillaPod, and it's something quite special. I use this to mount my, well, I use it to mount pretty much anything that's not on a flat surface or what I cannot reach with my big tripods. This thing grabs onto ledges, on poles, on fences, or wherever you want, whatever you think, it's gonna grapple on and it's gonna be sturdy, given that you're not putting very heavy loads on it. What's interesting is I have a Peak Design capture clip on this thing. So, main reason I use this instead of just using, the ball head like this is because everything in my bag has a Peak Design system clip thing. Even the battery handle on the bloody Pocket 3 has a clip, meaning that I can just go click and here we go. Things secured. Or I could be using my own tripod plates. I need to be careful. I need to lift this. Jesus Christ, come on out. There we are. And the tripod plates can just do that. That also is pretty secure in a more tight space, and I can still do photos if I can just Photoshop or clone whatever the tripod is out. And so far, this has functioned pretty well. So this is extremely versatile, and I use this whole thing as one entire system because I am heavily invested in Peak Design and their clips, meaning that I'm kind of trapped in this ecosystem, but who cares? It's a good product. What's next is this. Yes, I'm just trying to circle around the subject, the 2 dolls on the surface, but let's talk about this thing. This is a diffuser. It's a small one, no longer the 60 centimeter, the 30 centimeter one, because it's just about all right to cover the doll's face, and that's pretty much it. That's all I need anyway. And it's way smaller and does not fall over that easily compared to the bigger ones to wind because, well, it's smaller. Resistance is not as big as it should be. It shrinks up to like a disc, like a CD, that small, and fits in the bag pretty easily. I really do recommend anyone doing photos outdoors to get one of these because it's very easy to use and it diffuses the harsh light on the surface, on the doll's face, pretty much anywhere you want, and makes it a lot more pleasant to look at. I know some people love the harsh light, but personally, not my taste. So I love using one of these things, and plus combined with a tripod, combined with the flashes, I can do very good stacking, meaning that only the face is just ever so slightly softer and everything still looks pretty much balanced. Okay, now to dolls. Let's take a look. I'm not going to be moving these things because, well, what's the point of grabbing them up and giving a good old look? Because you can see that in all of my previous videos right up here. Watch all of these. These are the ones from this year, and I do think I have been doing a pretty good job myself. Anyways, 2 dolls in the bag, and what's interesting is the towels. I not only use a face mask to cover up their faces and the wig, I also use a towel on top of the padding on the tripod bag to cover them up. This is mainly for protection against harsh rubs, against harsh surfaces, and anyone bumping into it. So far, I really have not had any accidents, but I really do want to change how I carry these 2 dolls. I don't really want to carry a tripod bag anymore, but so far I have not found any bag that can accommodate all of this and at the same time have 2 dolls that won't get compressed, won't get squished together. It's pretty hard to find. I do have something on my mind, but that's for later on in the year, and I am not exactly sure how expensive that's gonna get. The snowball's kind of rolling down, and it's not looking great. Now, over here, we have what I just talked about, the plates. So I have 2 of them to make a good example. These are for mounting on the tripod, and they're just pretty much modified plates from Taobao, and that's about it. I just drilled a hole 1/4 inch, found a screw and just drilled it in, and voila, you can mount this on your tripod like a plate. So easy. However, do keep in mind that this is not the most elegant solution. If anything, it's the more violent one, and not exactly very pretty when you ever need so, but it's the most sturdy example, most sturdy solution I've found so far, and it has worked for more than 2 years at this point. So I do highly recommend everyone that is doing photos like I am and want to get into more high-risk stuff to get one of these and try drilling it through yourself. Remember, 1/4 inch with a camera clip, tripod plate, tripod plate that matches your own tripod. You do not need peak design. I repeat, you do not need peak design unless you are also using a peak design tripod or a capture clip like this one. All you need is a tripod plate that matches your own tripod. So look up the standards yourself. I do not know what type of tripod you are using, but all I know is it must match for them to be used together. And I think that's about it. There are some other things in here. I'll just go over them quickly. The spare clothes and the accessories are over on this side. I just keep them in plastic bags and nothing really that special about it. I don't really baby my stuff, so that's about right. This is modeling wax for the wigs, because all of my dolls are styled wigs, and having them messy in the wind, not exactly a very good solution. So I always carry one of these around, and plus I also use this on myself whenever I need to. I'm not using it right now, so I think it's about all right, and I think I should change this because I've already burned through half. Yeah, I think I need to get a new one. So yeah. Now to the cleaning pump. This thing, it's a mini one. I found this in Japan a few years ago, and I've been keeping one of these ever since. Ooh, there you go on the floor. So it's a smaller one, and it gets in the bag really easily, unlike those bigger ones with longer nozzles. I don't really like those, and plus this is good enough. Gets all the dust, gets everything off, and it's really easy to use. Now to my comb, and it's just a stock comb, nothing that special. Folds in, easy to carry around, and I also carry a spare one in the backpack just in case. And the accessory box. Well, I can't really explain this that well. There's a lot of accessories in here. Cameras, hand option parts, drinks, boot tag, clips. Whatever you need during a photo trip, it's probably in here. These are the most common things you find with accessories, and I do think these make the whole doll scene more lively. And I do really appreciate having these things, because hand option parts are hard to come by, and you should grab anything you can whenever you have the opportunity. Last thing is this. This is my personal camera wrist strap of choice. You just loop it in, and there you go. It's a quick release, so I'll just demonstrate with my R5, like that. And it's secured. See that? Yeah. It's really easy to use. I have these clips basically everywhere, on my R5, on my lenses, on my Pocket 3, and I can just detach them, put them on a tripod, easy peasy. So without further ado, I think we should start packing the bags. The bag, as usual, is a Peak Design 45-litre travel backpack with a Manfrotto 60cm tripod bag strapped on the side. I'm just going to move the bag up here so you can see it more clearly, and we're going to start packing from the front. Now we have arrived at the packing section of the entire video. This is going to be shot with a top-down perspective and also you looking directly at me, so I can show you how things go in the bag at a first-person perspective, and hopefully everything looks about alright. I'm going to start with the front section first and then move over to the main compartment, then the door compartment, and hopefully the bag will be complete and I will be putting the total weight of this entire thing on screen at the very end. So without further ado, let's start with the first section. The front part of the whole thing opens up like this. I have this tripod bag strapped to the side, so I can't exactly open up the entire thing, but this is good enough. So what goes in the front? The first thing goes in is this tripod. This is the Gorilla Pod I talked about. It goes in right here. It's a bit of a tight fit, but I think it works about fine, like that. Then these two tripods go in. These are the small ones and they go in like this, right here. Disappear pretty much instantly like that, because these are quite small. Next thing is the plates. So 1 and a 2. And just stack them together. Yes, yeah, that works. Now, the other thing that goes in is actually the spare clothes. So 1 bag, 2 bags, and maybe the accessory bag as well. So 3 bags goes in like this. I'll see how I can fit this better, maybe sideways, maybe like that, and 1 on top, and that's about it. I'll just zip this up like that. Come on. And that's the front section. All right, time to flip this over. Oof. Here we have arrived at the back section, the main compartment of the bag. Let's open this up with a big old zipper like that. You've seen me do this a million times in my photography vlogs, photography videos, so nothing honestly that special. It's a bigger compartment, fits with all my photography gear, so let's get this on with. First that goes in is the 2 tripods. So this is an empty bag because, well, this is filming the bloody video. So just think of it as a tripod. It goes in right here. Second one goes right on top. And this actually fulfills the role of having a, what do you call this? A thing that supports the whole structure of the bag, and it's actually quite sturdy with this in. It actually fits perfectly within this pack, and I think it's really, really flush. Now with the cameras, it goes in right here. The lens 7200 goes in right here. The 15-35 goes in right here. And flashes goes right here. Oh, almost forgot. The batteries. So both of them go in right in this little pocket right here. Fills them with Velcro, and there we are. Now to the tripod mounting plates of the flashes. They go right beside it with 1 more flash on top, rounding out the whole thing, and the compartment is pretty flush. The 2 lights, even with the sizes combined, they are still pretty slim, so I have a slight compartment right here and fits pretty good in here. Now to the bottom one. What goes in here is this, the diffuser first, then the blower goes in right on top, and then the flash trigger goes right here. Now, what also goes in here is these things, wires. These are aluminium, what do you call them? They're bend. They're really useful for lifting up dresses, lifting up flings, and act as very minimal support that are really, really easy to Photoshop away. And they're really useful. I keep a few of them in every single bag I have, and they're really useful in any given situation. And they're really easy to hide. I just put them in random places like this, and then shove them in here, and that's about it. Now, the top compartment, I put in the screwdriver kit. It's nothing special, I'm not going to cover this thing. Right here. And then the portable charger, the Anchor one, on top. And this is the hair wax or hair gel, whatever you call it, along with the compartment kit on top, like this. And it goes in right here. Anything else, including the Pocket 3, actually goes in around this space or other spaces around the bag, like here, because they're relatively small and they don't take up anything else. The comb and this actually fits in my pocket, but sometimes I like to fit a comb right in here. And this thing I'll be wearing, honestly, with the Pocket 3, so it doesn't really need to go in the bag. So I'll be wearing this, as I usually do, for the rest of the video. All right, let's close this up and get to the doll compartment. Now we've arrived at the doll compartment. I'll just unlock this one right over here. And as you can see, there are a lot of space in here, but it's actually a pretty tight fit. This is the only solution that has worked for me so far, and honestly, there is really nothing I can do about it. So I'm gonna grab a seat and then wrap these two dolls into basically what is a burrito and try and shove these in. So speed up footage, here we go. And that's about it for packing the dolls like a burrito. All that's left is just to zip up the damn thing like this. I hate this section so much. It always doesn't really zip up that well because it's not exactly a very good fit, as I said earlier in the video. But that's the most comprehensive solution so far. Not exactly very elegant, but what can you do about it? And there you go. Now just lock this back up with one of the straps like this. Strap tight along with the front. So as you can see right here, strap that tight as well. And off you go. That's the bag. This thing, if I am correct in my calculations, is at least 17 kilos, along with a bottle of water, of course, and my clothes, and also the random stuff I put in my bag sometimes. But yeah, around 17 kilos. I carry this thing on my back for around anything ranging from 10 to 20 kilometers every single time I go out for a photography trip. It's not exactly very enjoyable, but at the same time, I do think it's worth it because of all the photos I'm able to take on my journey. And yeah, it's not exactly very fun, I'll be honest with you. So that's about it for this video. I am not going to make any recommendations directly in the video for photo gear, for anything camera related, because I am mostly only familiar with Canon and Nikon, and that's about it. Anything Sony, anything Fujifilm related, I'm not quite sure, but if you do want any general recommendations or recommendations about gear or how to carry or doll specific equipment, I'm more than happy to answer down in the comments. So leave any questions you have down in the comments. It's also taken me quite a long time to figure out how exactly I want to pack and carry my stuff, because just looking at the video from last year, this one right here, my style of packing, my style of photography, and what I carry in these bags has changed quite a lot. No longer is there an R8, no longer is there a 24-70, and out the doll goes to the bag and in goes the tripod, because the dolls now sit outside in a tripod bag. Now that I say it, that is quite ironic, isn't it? Anyways, thank you very much for watching this bloody horrible video to the very end. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Leave a comment down below if you have anything you want to say about 2024 on this channel. Whatever you've seen, whatever you liked, whatever you didn't like, just say something down there. Give me some engagement, okay? My voice is absolutely cracking and I cannot speak any further, so I think I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in 2025. Lemon out.